Let me ask you a fun question. Have you ever wondered what's really going on in a man's head when it comes to intimacy? You might think he's bold, confident, and willing to say exactly what he wants. But here's the truth: most women don't realize a lot of men have secret desires they're too nervous to express. And I don't mean just in life, but especially in the bedroom. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Many men fantasize about trying certain positions, but they never bring them up because they're afraid of being judged, laughed at, or even rejected. And ladies, this is where you have an incredible opportunity. When you create a safe space where he feels he can share, that's when the connection goes from good to unforgettable. And this is where you come in. Ladies, the truth is, when you create an atmosphere where he feels safe enough to express his hidden desires, you instantly set yourself apart. You become the woman he feels he can truly explore with, the woman who not only excites him physically, but also makes him feel understood emotionally. And that combination, that's the stuff that keeps men coming back for more, not just for a night, but for a lifetime. So in today's video, I'm going to reveal 6 unique positions men are dying to try but are too afraid to say out loud. Some of these will surprise you, some will make you laugh, and some might just become your new favorite. Her power move. One of the biggest misconceptions people have about men is that they always want to be in control. They want to lead, they want to dominate, they want to set the pace. And yes, in many situations that's true. Men like to feel strong and powerful, especially in intimacy. But here's the secret most women don't realize. A huge number of men actually crave the opposite sometimes. They want you to take full control. I'm not just talking about casually being on top for a few minutes. I mean really stepping into the driver's seat, owning the moment, and letting him completely surrender to your energy. For him, it's not just physical pleasure, it's psychological. It flips the script. He's so used to being the one who carries responsibility in his job, in his decisions, in how he shows up for people, that when you take over in the bedroom, it feels liberating. It's like a break from always having to be the man, and instead he gets to simply enjoy. And ladies, here's why this matters. When you lean into that power move, you're not only giving him an incredible physical experience, you're showing him a side of you that's bold, confident, and unapologetically feminine. That confidence is intoxicating to him. He sees a woman who knows what she wants, who isn't afraid to lead, and who can make him feel desired in a way he doesn't usually admit he needs. That is a massive turn on. Men don't always say it because it feels vulnerable to ask. Think about it. How is he supposed to say, I want you to dominate me tonight? For a lot of guys, that feels emasculating, even though in reality it's the opposite. It makes him feel chosen. It makes him feel like you are so attracted to him that you can't help but take charge. What makes this so powerful is not just the position itself, but the energy you bring to it. The way you control the rhythm, the way you lock eyes with him, the way you decide when to speed up, when to slow down, and when to change the intensity. It's like you're orchestrating the entire experience. And in that moment, he feels like he's in the presence of a woman who is completely comfortable in her skin, completely confident in her sexuality, and completely unafraid to let her desires show. That's rare, and that's why it sticks with him. So when you take charge in this way, you're not just giving him physical pleasure, you're tapping into one of his deepest unspoken desires, the chance to let go. And once he experiences that with you, he's going to crave it again and again, because it's not something every woman gives him. You become unforgettable, not just because of what you did, but because of how you made him feel free, desired, and completely yours. The hidden angle twist, another position men secretly fantasize about, but rarely admit out loud, is one that's less about performance and more about intimacy. It's when you're lying on your sides with him behind you in that spoon-like position that feels both playful and deeply connected. Now, why is this such a big deal for men? Because it combines 2 powerful elements, intimacy and novelty. Men are used to thinking about positions in terms of intensity or what looks impressive, but when you bring him into this angle, you create an experience that's sensual, vulnerable, and physically stimulating in ways he doesn't expect. The angle alone changes everything. It hits differently. It feels tighter, closer, more controlled. But beyond the physical, there's a psychological layer that makes it irresistible. When he's behind you, there's this primal sense of closeness and possession, like he's wrapped around you, protecting you while still connecting in the most intimate way possible. But at the same time, because you're lying down, it feels more relaxed, more natural. He doesn't feel like he has to perform Instead, he can just be there with you, enjoying every second without pressure. And that's rare for men because they're often carrying the unspoken weight of needing to do well in bed. In this position, that pressure disappears. What makes it even more powerful is the subtle details you can add. The way your bodies are pressed together, the heat of your skin, the way you can guide his hands to hold you, explore you, or pull you closer. All of these small touches make it unforgettable for him. And then there's the element of whispering. When you're in this position, you're so close that you can lean back, breathe into his ear, tell him what you're feeling or what you want. That drives him absolutely crazy because it's not just physical, it's emotional. He feels your voice, your breath, your desire, and it sinks deep into him. Now, here's the part he'll never admit. For a lot of men, this kind of closeness is scarier to ask for than a wild, adventurous position. It's easier for him to joke about trying something acrobatic than it is for him to admit, I want to hold you like this, close and vulnerable, because closeness means exposure. It means he's not hiding behind performance or movement. He's right there with you, heart to heart, breath to breath. And that level of intimacy can feel intimidating. But when you take the lead and introduce it, you give him permission to experience that softness without having to ask for it. Once you've given him that, he'll never forget it. Because it's not just another position. It's a memory of being completely close to you, both physically and emotionally. It's playful, it's passionate, and it's something he secretly craves, but doesn't know how to put into words. And when you're the one who creates that moment for him, you become the person he associates with that deep, unspoken desire. The adventurer's lift, there's something deeply wired in men that makes them fantasize about strength, passion, and raw physicality in intimacy. One of the positions men secretly dream about, but almost never admit, is the kind that involves lifting you, holding you against the wall, or sweeping you into his arms in the middle of the moment. It's what I like to call the adventurer's lift. Why? Because it feels spontaneous, daring, and primal. For him, it's not just about the position, it's about the rush of adrenaline that comes with it. It makes him feel powerful, masculine, and capable of giving you an experience that feels almost cinematic. Think about it. Those passionate movie scenes where the couple can't wait to get their hands on each other and suddenly he lifts her against the wall. Men fantasize about being that guy, the one who's so taken by desire for you that he can't even wait. But here's the interesting part. Most men never bring this up. And it's not because they don't want it. It's because they're insecure about it. They're thinking, what if I drop her? What if she thinks I'm trying too hard? What if I don't look as smooth as I imagine in my head? That self-doubt kills the fantasy before it ever leaves his lips. So instead of asking, he keeps it tucked away as something he wishes he could try, but never dares to say. Now here's the magic: when you make space for this kind of adventure, even if it's just once, it creates an unforgettable moment for him. Because what he really wants isn't just the physical act of lifting you, it's the emotional charge behind it. It's about being in a position where he feels like the hero, where he gets to show you his strength and passion in one explosive moment. And when you allow yourself to go there with him, you're showing him that you trust him, that you're excited to explore, and that you're willing to play into that fantasy. That trust, that excitement, is what takes it from just another position to an experience he will never stop thinking about. And here's the thing, you don't have to make it some intense Hollywood style move every time. Sometimes it's just about letting him lift you onto a counter or surprise you with a playful move in the middle of things. It doesn't have to last long, it just has to break the pattern, inject that sense of spontaneity, and let him feel that rush of being the strong, adventurous partner who sweeps you off your feet. That moment, however brief, taps directly into his masculinity, his desire, and his longing to impress you in a way that words can't capture. So when you lean into this, you're not just giving him something thrilling to try physically, you're giving him an experience that satisfies a deep, primal fantasy. And once he feels that with you, he won't just crave the position, he'll crave you because you're the woman who made him feel alive, adventurous, and powerful all at once. Face-to-face intimacy, one of the most powerful but often unspoken positions that men secretly crave, is the one where you're completely face-to-face. I'm talking about those moments where your bodies are pressed close, your legs wrapped around him, and your eyes just a breath away from his. On the surface, it looks simple, maybe even basic, but what makes it so intoxicating for a man isn't the mechanics, it's the intimacy. See, men are often portrayed as only wanting things that are wild, adventurous, or over the top, but what most people miss is that men also crave the moments that make them feel emotionally naked. And nothing does that more than deep eye contact in the middle of passion. Now, here's why it's such a big deal. Eye contact is vulnerable. It's exposing. When you're looking directly into his eyes in the heat of the moment, he can't hide. He can't mask his feelings with bravado. He can't distract himself by focusing only on physical movement. He has to be there, fully present with you. And for a man, that's both terrifying and electrifying. He may never say it out loud, but what he really wants is that moment where he feels completely seen by you, where he knows you're not just connecting with his body, you're connecting with his soul. This is the position that transforms intimacy from something purely physical into something unforgettable. When you wrap yourself around him and hold his gaze, it tells him, I'm here with you. I want all of you. And even though men don't always articulate it, that feeling of being truly desired, truly chosen, is one of the deepest turn-ons he can ever experience. It makes him feel not just like a lover, but like your man. And let's be honest, this can feel scary for both of you. Holding eye contact while you're that close, while you're both vulnerable, is intense. That's exactly why it's so powerful, because it's not just about pleasure, it's about trust. When you allow yourself to be that exposed, you're inviting him to do the same. And once he feels that level of trust and openness, it bonds him to you in a way that wild positions never could. Here's something else most people don't realize. Men often avoid asking for this because it feels too tender, too raw. It's easier for him to joke about wanting something adventurous or edgy than it is to admit, why want to look into your eyes and feel close to you? But just because he doesn't say it doesn't mean he doesn't crave it. When you initiate it, when you pull him close, hold his gaze, and let him feel your vulnerability, it gives him permission to do the same. And that moment stays with him long after the physical act is over. So while this position might look simple, don't underestimate its power. For a man, it's not just about the closeness of your bodies, it's about the closeness of your hearts. It's about feeling more than desire. It's about feeling love, connection, and a bond that makes him never want to let you go. The teasing switch. One of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to intimacy is thinking that it always has to follow a script. You start one way, you stay there, and then you finish. But here's the thing, men secretly crave spontaneity, variety, and the thrill of unpredictability. They don't always say it because they don't want to sound restless or make you feel like you're not enough. But inside, a lot of men fantasize about positions that change mid-flow. They want the energy to feel alive, playful, and even a little surprising. And that's where the teasing switch comes in. This isn't about acrobatics or constantly flipping around. It's about the element of surprise. Imagine you're in the middle of something, and just when he thinks he knows what's coming, you shift, you turn, you move into something new. That one switch instantly resets the energy. It makes him feel like he's experiencing you for the first time all over again. And it's not just the physical sensation that excites him, it's the message behind it. The message is, I'm playful, I'm confident, I'm as invested in this moment as you are. That kind of energy is magnetic because men don't just want passion. They want passion that feels alive, unpredictable, and fun. The teasing switch also creates anticipation. When you take control of when and how things change, it keeps him guessing. He doesn't know when you're going to change things up, so he stays locked in, fully engaged, not drifting off into autopilot. And ladies, here's the secret. When you surprise him like this, it tells him something powerful. It tells him that you're enjoying yourself too, that you're not just there, but you're actively creating the experience. For a man, that's one of the biggest turn-ons because it makes him feel like he's with a partner who is adventurous, curious, and completely present. Now, men rarely admit this desire because it can feel like they're asking for too much. He doesn't want to risk sounding ungrateful, like what you're already doing isn't enough. So instead, he just goes along with the flow, secretly wishing for more variety. That's why when you're the one to initiate it, it blows his mind. You're giving him exactly what he didn't know how to ask for. And because it's unexpected, it leaves a much deeper imprint in his memory. Here's what makes it even more powerful. The teasing switch isn't just about positions. It's about the energy of play. You can tease him by slowing down when he wants you to speed up, by switching at the very moment he thinks he's in control. or by changing direction just enough to make him crave more. It's like a game of push and pull, giving him a taste, then switching it up and making him chase that next wave of excitement. That playful unpredictability drives him wild. At the end of the day, men want to feel excited, they want to feel surprised, and they want to feel like every moment with you is unique. When you bring the teasing switch into the mix, you're not just giving him variety, you're giving him the gift of passion that feels alive, fresh, and unforgettable. The bold fantasy now, let's talk about one of the biggest secrets men carry, the bold fantasy. Every man has at least one position or adventurous scenario he's dying to try but is far too nervous to say out loud. And no, it doesn't always mean something extreme or outrageous. Sometimes it's as simple as wanting to step outside the bedroom and try it somewhere unexpected, like the living room floor, the shower, or even on a vacation balcony. Other times it's about experimenting with role reversal, maybe letting you be in control in a way he's never experienced before, or bringing in an element of play that feels daring. But here's the truth. Men hesitate to voice these fantasies because they're terrified of judgment. He's worried you'll laugh, or worse, you'll think he's weird, too much, or not the man you thought he was. That fear of rejection keeps him silent. So instead of sharing his bold fantasy, he suppresses it, and it becomes this secret desire he carries around but never gets to experience. And yet when the right woman opens the door and says, "Let's try something new. Let's play a little," it's like giving him permission to breathe. Suddenly he feels free, excited, and safe all at once. And that combination is intoxicating. What makes the bold fantasy so powerful isn't just the novelty, it's the vulnerability. When he's allowed to step into that space with you, he's sharing a side of himself that almost no one else sees. It's not just about the thrill of doing something daring. It's about the intimacy of knowing you won't judge him for it. You become the woman who says, "Your desires are safe with me." And trust me, when a man feels that, it changes everything. It's also about energy. Trying a bold fantasy creates a sense of play and adventure that keeps the relationship exciting. It breaks routine, it keeps things fresh, and it shows him that you're willing to explore instead of sticking to the same old patterns. That spirit of adventure is magnetic, because it tells him this isn't just about keeping passion alive, it's about deepening your connection in new ways. And here's the best part, you don't even have to go to extremes to fulfill this for him. Sometimes simply suggesting a small twist, like changing the environment, introducing a playful role, or hinting at something a little daring, is enough to make him feel like he's living out his fantasy. What matters most is that you're willing to explore with him without shame or judgment. That's what makes it unforgettable. So while he may never come out and say it, men are carrying bold fantasies they're desperate to experience with someone they trust. And when you're the one who makes that possible, you don't just give him physical excitement, you give him emotional freedom. You become the woman who isn't just his lover, but his co-adventurer. And that's the kind of bond that keeps passion alive forever. So here's the truth. Men may look confident, bold, and ready to say what they want, but the reality is a lot of their deepest desires never leave their lips, not because they don't trust you, but because they're afraid of judgment, afraid of looking silly, or afraid of ruining the moment. That's why when you create a safe, playful, and open space where he can explore with you, you instantly become unforgettable. These 6 positions aren't just about adding variety in the bedroom. They're about deepening your intimacy, breaking the routine, and showing him that with you, he can let go of fear and step into freedom. That's rare, and that's exactly why he'll never stop craving you. It's not the moves themselves, it's the confidence, the openness, and the emotional connection that make them powerful. And ladies, let's be honest, this isn't just about pleasing him. When you lean into these moments of play and adventure, you unlock a side of yourself that's bold, sensual, and confident. You get to explore your own power, your own desires, and your own ability to create unforgettable experiences. That's what makes intimacy exciting, not just for him, but for you too. So if you want to keep passion alive, if you want to be the woman who leaves him thinking about you long after the moment is over, remember this, don't be afraid to explore. Don't be afraid to take charge, to play, to tease, to connect deeply, and to bring his hidden fantasies into the light. Because when you do, you're not just giving him pleasure, you're giving him an experience that no one else has ever given him. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever surprised a man by introducing something new or playful, and how did he react? Share your story in the comments. I read them all. and they might just inspire someone else. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Because every week I'm sharing real advice to help you create the kind of love and passion that lasts.